Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great day and welcome back to Theonopolis. So today we are building a new train station and building a corner building with some shops in it and a staff room, if I think that's the correct name for it. But anyway, starting off with the train station, and this ties into why are we rebuilding the main street? Well, if you've been watching my channel for a really long time, with really long time, I mean like half a year ago, because that's when we started building the main street and sort of finished it. Like, I think we started building the main street in the 6th or 7th episode and finished it, or somewhat finished it, in like the 9th episode. Then you know how the main street sort of looked like. And you also know that the former train station didn't really work with the addition of the castle and palace, because I always say like, yeah, Theonopolis is really actually built to just take somewhat impressive screenshots, and you immediately know, if you've seen the earlier version of the train station, what was wrong with that. For anyone who hasn't seen the earlier version of the main street station, it basically was on sort of like an aqueduct above the main street, going over the main street, and you know that it would block the view for the castle actually, and the palace. So this was actually one of the few like questions of like deleting the old train station, or just revamping it a bit to make it fit. But you know, I'm a squirrel, so usually those things are decided pretty quickly, but this time it was just like, yeah, like it's somewhat like, I don't know, like it's such a long time ago that it was kind of like, yeah, but it's like a really relic of like the old Theonopolis in a way, but then it's blocking the new Theonopolis, so it's, well, it had to go eventually. So I'm really happy that we're building a new train station, not directly on the main street, or like even, well, it's adjacent to the main street, but not like directly on the main street. It's actually kind of on the side to the right. That's also why we need a corner building, because it's not directly on the main street. So if there wasn't a corner building, there would be like a gap just between the station and the main street. So also the train station, like the former train station, was really imposing. It was basically just a wall blocking off the main street. Again, another reason to get rid of it, because it just made the main street just feel really closed off. And with this train station and the corner building, we're basically opening up the main street to really, you know, if you leave the castle, the first sight you have is not a wall, but actually a really inviting main street. But with the train station, because I'm getting off track, which is normal for my channel, but I kind of want to have a little bit more of like some kind of followable, well, commentary this time. You know that that's not going to work, but we're gonna try. But with the train station, I wanted a little bit more of like, a little bit more subdued of an art style and just building, because as I said, first train station was basically a wall, really imposing, intimidating, and with the rest of the main street looking actually kind of friendly and like welcoming, as a main street should be. I mean, if you have a really intimidating main street, it's kind of scary and not really inviting to just like walk along the main street and just basically get every little penny out of your customers. Or, well, yeah, that's really just the reason why I think a main street is really inviting all the time, just to get every little penny out of everyone's purses, because all the shops are along the main street. But also just, well, if the main street is really intimidating, it doesn't really work that way, because you just want to leave. Or at least I want to leave, because I don't really feel like comfortable then. But with the new buildings, I wanted to have like sort of like that inviting feeling, just going even out of the main street, because this building, or the train station, is almost like hugging the moat of the castle. So you kind of already get an idea of where it precisely is located. But that also serves why we're building this building, because it's basically like a building where you could like wait if you missed your train or have like a really long wait time for your train, so that you can wait in a building with park wise probably would have like some vending machines, some kind of like information kiosk or something. Theonopolis wise or like city wise probably would have like some kind of food vendor or something, or some kind of office for the train company. Yeah, this building is completely historically inaccurate because of course ancient Grecians didn't have a train station, but this is one of the buildings or one of the rides that's really just like, yeah, this is really just built because it's a theme park. In a way. But anyway, so this building is really just there to invite you to come into the train station or just wait. And Blanco wise doesn't have any function. Like I said, there would be like an information kiosk in such a building, but well, it's not in here actually. But I also said I wanted a subdued building, but I didn't want to have like a boring building with just like, oh yeah, there's a train station there because there's some kind of roof thing. Like I wanted to have it really visible, like there is something there. Go to it and basically see what it is. And I also, like there is a square basically at the back of the train station, but the train station entrance is oriented to the castle because, again, theme park wise, people will want to go on the train to get to, let's say, the back of the park early in the day, so you don't want them to basically have to walk completely through the main street, or actually theme park wise that would make some kind of sense because then they would go along all the shops. But anyway, back to what I wanted to talk about. You don't want them to have like too long of a walk to get to the train station. So with the way it's oriented right now, it's like you go out of like the entrance area and you can immediately go right and you're at the train station and you can go to the back of the park. But anyway, because it's the 60th episode, so I usually do something special basically because I'm a squirrel, so my attention span is the size of a squirrel. So basically every, like, let's say anniversary episode, I basically celebrate that Theonopolis hasn't been killed off yet. Yeah, we're at the 60th episode right now, so I don't think Theonopolis is going to get killed off anytime soon. We are actually closing in on like finishing Theonopolis. I say that with like, I think 30 episodes remaining. But anyway, I did a little bit of I wouldn't say a bad thing, but I looked at the frame rate of Theonopolis and we have like a steady 20. And I sort of have like a beast of a PC, so the Theonopolis right now is basically going to melt some PCs if I would make it available on the workshop. But it also means like, yeah, there were some plans for like really large areas that were yet to have been built, but I'm slowly realizing like, alright, there needs to like get some kind of ending to Theonopolis. And I know like, yeah, it's still 30 episodes, but it's still something you need to think about when you build something because, well, if you allow me, I would probably make Theonopolis like a 5-year project. I'm not joking, I can do that. Basically by just revamping and rebuilding areas. But anyway, so for the 60th episode, because I always do something special, I would say. Every building that we're going to build while rebuilding Main Street, which are 3 buildings, this corner shop that we're building right now, the train station from earlier, and a hotel, are actually going to be available on the workshop if I wanted to say if I finish them in time, but the train station, as I'm recording this, is already on the workshop. This corner shop maybe tomorrow or the day after that. And the hotel maybe this weekend, probably this weekend. But yeah, so that's something new because I regularly say like, oh yeah, it's going to be on the workshop, and then I forget, I build, and it becomes like 6,000 pieces, and I can't put it on the workshop because it's too large. So yeah, but this corner shop, which basically houses 2 ice cream shops and a bread shop. Yes, it has a name, but I'm not even going to try that name because it's, well, I'm bad with names, so I would just completely butcher it, but it's a French name, so you already know that it's very hard to pronounce, especially for me. But yeah, it has that bread shop and it has a staff building. Train station, I think, speaks for itself what it has. It's basically just a train station. Hotel also speaks for itself. So this week there will be 3 new things on my workshop, which is kind of weird because, again, I don't really place a lot of things on my workshop. So that's in a way the special thing of the 60th episode, just announcing that that is going to happen. But anyway, back to the corner shop because, well, I should probably talk about what we're building right now. But anyway, for the corner shop, you might already see like it's really built to sort of like, how would I say this in like a way that wouldn't confuse the hell out of you guys. But the corner shop is really built to just go with the curve, as it were, to go with it being a corner building. I said corner shop, I think, a lot of times, but it's a corner building, also a corner shop in a way. So, correct either way. But it's really built to go along with it being on the corner. It's also like, first I envisioned having like some kind of tower on like the corner, but again, Theonopolis is really built to take somewhat impressive screenshots, and yeah, having a tower on like the corner, like now the tower is at the back corner, just because I wanted to have some height into the building, or like height difference in the building. But the first idea was to have it like on the corner where now the ice cream shops are located. Yeah, it really just blocked the view, made the main street, again, really imposing, really sort of intimidating, because you have like that big amount of height right at the entrance of the main street. And I really wanted the main street to look really inviting, really like, come here and spend every penny you have in your purse. Yes, I think still that that's like the main function of the main street. Just because like every shop that we have in game is on this main street. But anyway, also quickly building just a way that you're not like running into the train. Because yeah, it's now on the same level as the main street, so there needs to be like some kind of like, well, saying to people like, don't run onto the tracks, like there is a track here, be careful. Because that's one thing I think about, like I really wanted to have like, if we had barriers that you can turn on and off, so that if the train comes along, you can sort of like an effect in, let's say, a coaster or dark ride, you can turn the barrier on so that people don't run into the train. Also quickly building a bakery, or basically that bread shop with the name that I'm not going to be able to pronounce, so I'm not even going to try. But basically a bakery like right at the train station side, because just like getting like, let's say, a sandwich or something just before you head onto the train. I also thought of like placing like a burrito shop in here, but yeah, a bread shop was a little bit more like, I would say, classy. Not saying that a burrito isn't classy, but a burrito can get pretty messy if you don't handle it correctly. Or I just can't eat. Probably the latter. But anyway, back to, well, not really what I'm building right now, because it's just adding a little bit more clutter, as it were, to the building. But back to sort of like celebrating the 60th episode of Theonopolis. As I said, probably like 90 episodes, or maybe we will reach 100 episodes, but that's like really the end point of Theonopolis. In a way, I'm sort of like unnerved that it's ending. Like we're past the halfway point with Theonopolis, but in a way I'm also weirdly happy with Theonopolis. Like we've done pretty much, well, we have been pretty much all over the map. And well, with Plan 2 coming up, it felt appropriate to have like, alright, we're slowly getting to the end of Theonopolis. Though I do think that Theonopolis is still like going to go on when Plan 2 is released, but like when Plan 2 is released, we're really at like the end stages of well, not Planet Coaster, but Theonopolis. Which again, I'm sort of happy with, but also sort of like, because we have been in Theonopolis for half a year now, which still feels weird. Like thinking of my squirrel brain, especially at the beginning of Theonopolis, was, well, to imagine that we would have 60 episodes. I think when I started Theonopolis, I didn't think we would reach 50. Really. I really thought Theonopolis would be, first of all, a lot smaller. But, yeah. Second of all, I really just thought that halfway through I would just give up on Theonopolis. Yeah, that's a weird thought when you're at your 60th episode, that you're like, if things went different, or, well, actually, if things went different, Theonopolis might not have lived as long as it did. But that's just, well, how can I say this? That's just how much inspiration I can take from like Greek architecture and mythology. Like there's always something new to build. And yes, I am really serious when I say, if I didn't, let's say, set an endpoint at episode, I don't think, maybe 100 or 90, then Theonopolis would be able to go on for a really long time, until I couldn't open the park anymore, because, well, I've went back to, let's say, an earlier episode or earlier version of Theonopolis where I think we've finished the main street by that point, or somewhat finished the main street, like Squirrel finished the main street, which basically is like, yeah, I say that it's finished, but I still need to do some things. But back then I had like 60 frames, now we have 20 at most. I don't think it actually has changed a lot between, let's say, the Pharaohs and what we're building right now. But it's just like, Theonopolis is really getting full. But that's also like, I've slowly built like the edges of Theonopolis, which, well, you could have seen that already because the castle is built along the edge. But I've slowly been like, alright, which areas are like really still necessary to really make Theonopolis like feel complete, and which areas were just like, yeah, not really necessary, but just like, let's say, an add-on for Theonopolis, which, well, sadly meant that like areas that were like not really as important to Theonopolis, I would say, did mean that those would be, well, those are gone. So some areas that I have like thought of, that I thought like, alright, this, you know, could be fun in Theonopolis, those areas sadly are cancelled. We still have, let's say, I think maybe one kiddie coaster that we will build, and maybe one ride. Besides that, it's just filling Theonopolis with buildings. Shops and such. Well, I say one ride, but with one ride I mean, well, I actually can't decide between either a river rapids or a go-kart. Like, I can't decide. Both would be kind of fun. Maybe, well, I'm kind of going more into like river rapids, because those are a lot more fun to build. Yeah, probably river rapids or something. But then again, I'm Squirrel, so I can quickly change my mind in, let's say, 1 second. Yeah. Anyway, back to what we're building, because that's basically all I had to say for how Theonopolis will go on from now. Which pretty much is the same, but we have gone over the halfway point. What did I say? Pond? Pun? Yeah, words today, words every day for me are an obstacle. Anyway, for this corner building, because I wanted to have it like, you know, not be like solely placeable in Theonopolis, I wanted to have a little bit more of like a theme park building vibe. I wanted to have basically the advertisements for the shops that were in the buildings to also be present. Like those are almost not present anywhere else in Theonopolis. Like I think these are the first advertisements for the actual Planko shops on buildings. Yeah, I really think that is the real thing. Like anywhere else in Theonopolis you won't find like advertisements for the shops. So this was strange in a way, but also really, I don't know, made the building feel a little bit more alive. And also quickly building like tables and such where, let's say, fresh baked beds. Yeah, I wanted to say it's one of those days, but it's every day that I mess up a word. But fresh baked breads that he has basically baked just now, and that he's like stalling out just so that you are more enticed to buy it. And yeah, building food in Plant Coaster is really annoying, and you have only a few options, but there's like one pie, one sort of pie, and then the rest is just bread. And I wanted to go like that old style bread, which is basically round with that sort of like cross in the middle, which I like. Like, I like how it turned out. Also gives the bakery a little bit more of like its own soul, as it were. Though I have to say, sadly, the bakery or the corner shop isn't ready yet, but the station is already on the workshop. Corner shop will probably follow tomorrow or the day after, but that will be it for today. I hope you enjoyed the 60th video of Theonopolis. If you do, I hope to see you back in the next one, and I wish you all an amazing day. Bye bye!